Hi, this is Linda with LJJumble, and today I'm going to do a recoiling, but first I'm going to talk to you about my latest order from Erin Condren. I got these date dots as a freebie. They're in the monthly colors, and I don't know if I'm going to use them or how I'm going to use them. I got some of those bookmark tabs, and I got the colourful circles sticker pack. So I got a deluxe monthly. I ordered a deluxe monthly. That is what the date cover stickers came with. But as you can clearly see, I received the colourful inside and I had ordered the neutral inside. Now, I got in contact with Erin Condren. They had the neutral insides to me a week after I got in contact with them, which is a feat considering I live in Australia. And I now have the neutral guts and a colourful with no cover. So the other thing about this video is when I shot it, I thought I had my microphone on and I was talking to you guys. So you can see all the idiot hand movements like I'm talking to the camera, but I'm not, and feel a little bit like a dickhead, but I figured you guys might get a bit of a laugh at it because it is sort of really weird watching my hands move and not speak. I also forgot to mention that with the order of the deluxe monthly, I got that little budget dashboard. Now, this is the cover that came with my Happy Planner, but I'm switching it to the watercolor one. I forget what the exact name of it is. Before I recoil, I have taken everything out of my planner that I can, the ruler, the pouch that I had in it. I have separated the bits that I want to keep and the bits that I want to take out with clips. I am going to use my utility tool that I inherited when my dad passed away, and I absolutely love having it around to use because it's a great freaking tool. Anyway, so because this planner has been recoiled before, it's a little bit mangled, and to be honest, the end breaks off of that one, but I think I put in a different coil from another planner into this one and used the one that had the broken bit off in the discarded bits, if that makes any sense. So here I am trying to fix it so that that little bit in the back that was sort of caught up in the coil is moved. You only really have to undo one side of the coil. I undid both because I wanted to see which would be the easiest to move out and in. Here I am trying to stick that big clip over the whole of the contents of the planner, and it's not going to work. It's going to keep bouncing off. So I give up with that little bit that I'd swung around and just place it over the rest that I want to keep together. Now I start working on uncoiling the planner, and I'm going to slow down the footage a little bit here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm working up and then down the coil, and then once you get a good rhythm going, if you've got your coil bent right, you can just sort of run your hand over it and spin the whole thing once it gets to a certain point. It is a lot easier than you think it's going to be to uncoil and recoil. It just takes a tiny bit of patience and trying to get those coils right, and it's really not hard. The very first time I did it, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Lyndall? This is going to end in disaster. But after actually doing it once, it is really easy. Like, seriously, really, really easy to do. So here we are getting to the end, and the footage will speed back up again in a little bit. And once you've got the coil out, it's just a matter of unclipping your life planner, sorting out what you want to take out, reorganizing it, restructuring it however you want, and then tapping it down on its sides so that you can get it all even and get the coil back in there. Now I'm putting in some of the notes pages from the old planner that I didn't use, and I'm putting in one of the pages that I took out, which was, I think, the hexagon coloring page. And I did that because I've seen some people use it for gold stuff. So here I am putting those 2 pages back in. And as you can see, the older notes pages, and just checking that everything's the way I want it at the back there. Sorting that back out, lining it up, tapping it on the flat surface to make sure that it's all even. Then I tap it on the bottom, and then what you can't see is I'm looking to see if I can see through the holes, and I couldn't, so I'm tapping it down again, and I do check when I lift it up a tiny bit. That's me checking to see if I can see through the holes. Then I clip it so it's straight, and as you can see, well, you can't see through them, but it's dark through them, and you can't see any white blocking up those holes. So now I'm looking at which part of the coil is the straightest, and as I said, this is a different coil. It's the coil that was in my old planner, but it's less mangled, so I'm using it with this one. Now I've moved my camera slightly so you can see what I am doing. I am holding the top of the planner and I am hanging it so that it's resting on the desk, but the coil is hanging down. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because if you get the coil and uncoil it so that it's as round as the rest of the coil and as distant from the previous coil, like here in this frame shot, as you can see, it looks like a brand new coil. I've moved it so that it is as round and as separated as the rest of the coils. If you can manage to do that, which can be a little bit tricky, you can hang it over a desk like this and it will basically stay to the point where you can just roll it around and it will automatically go into every hole. And sometimes it'll occasionally get a little bit stuck and you've got to wiggle it a little bit, but it's actually really easy if you get that coil position right. Now, you'll notice that as the coil goes in, the part that the coil is already in is sort of bowing on the inside, which helps the rest of the coil go in smoothly. Now, it sort of looks a little bit easier here than it is. Not that it's not easy, but sometimes you just got to wiggle it back in, wiggle it back in, and it is pretty easy, unless you completely stuff it up. I really think this is, I suppose, and I wouldn't suggest beginners do it, but if you've got a spare one that you can uncoil and practice on, go for it. I found it really easy. So I find that hanging it on the desk like this helps to keep the pages straight, and it gives somewhere for the coil to go while you're recoiling it, so you're not fiddling around with the bit that's not coiled in the book. So this isn't the most glamorous look at my filming setup at my craft desk, but I figured it was worth it so that you guys could see exactly how I uncoil and recoil one of these life planners, just in case you were thinking of doing it. There are people out there who only have 6 months in their planner at a time. They take out 6 months, recoil it, and then they put the next 6 months in, and then once they finish that 6 months, they'll put the whole thing together and archive it on their shelf, which I can see why people would do. It would be just a much lighter thing to carry around. And then all you do is fold that coil back in on both sides. And then it's done. Now, I wouldn't suggest you do this sort of thing if you are a little bit precious about your coil looking a little bit dinged up where you've got to bend it, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna look dinged up. But if you want function over form and you don't care about a little bit of markings on the bits of the coil going in, like that you move in, then I don't think it's a problem. So now that the uncoiling and recoiling has been done, I can put the covers back on. I actually busted one of my not so good looking nails doing this. Totally worth it. So yeah, that's it. I wouldn't recommend this for anyone that was scared of doing it, but if you feel that you are capable of doing this, then yeah, sure, go right ahead. But I'm not to blame if anything goes wrong, just saying. So yeah, I felt that it was easy, but it may not be. Other people might be a little bit intimidated by it, and that's fine. If you don't feel that you need to do it, then don't do it. I now have planner peace, and for me it's a great thing to be able to know that I can do this without having to worry about it in the future. So I hope you guys liked this video. I wouldn't really call it a tutorial, but you know, just a video on how to uncoil and recoil your planner. The coil was sort of inside that back cover, so I just be putting it on. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like it, love it if you subscribe, and if you do subscribe and wish to be notified of when my videos drop, hit that notification bell. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.